Today I want to do something just a little bit different. I want to give you just a quick recap on kind of where I've been, kind of how things have progressed. I started my YouTube channel. Actually, I posted the first one. So right before the turn of the year, that was my New Year's resolution to myself, was to start a YouTube channel. And the channel was really about woodworking, teaching people how to use a variety of tools, how to create a variety of things, and kind of some trials and tribulations that I've gone through, and hopefully that'll save you a little bit of headache. The basic reason that I started the channel, and that was to provide some education, provide some knowledge, and hopefully teach people who are interested in the topic of woodworking and using a variety of tools how to perfect their craft. And so today I'm going to be talking about CNCs and try to dispel a couple of the myths. I just recently bought myself a CNC. There are a lot of things to know about it. I'm going to share with you some terminology and some basic fundamental things about a CNC in just a few minutes. Okay, first of all, let's talk about what a CNC machine is, okay? So this is kind of myth number one. All right, if you are looking to automate your process in your garage, a CNC is not going to do that for you. Now, before anybody goes on the hater wagon, eventually your CNC is going to help you automate a few things to help make your process a little more efficient. But at the very beginning, it is going to slow you down, and I'm going to explain some of that in just a second. A CNC machine is simply a router or spindle-based machine with specific router bits that are controlled by a program that you put into a computer, gets converted into some software that the CNC machine recognizes and runs. So from that perspective, I guess it is a little bit automated. But here's what I've learned. It takes a little bit to learn the software. It takes a little bit to understand how to create graphics. It takes a little bit to understand how to set your machine up physically. Throughout the process of creating something on your machine, the more complex your artwork is, the more time you're going to have to spend near the machine. I'll explain that a little bit more in just a few seconds. The beautiful thing about a CNC is it can do some really elaborate work. It can do some one-dimensional, two-dimensional, even three-dimensional artwork. And some of the things that people have done with them are just absolutely phenomenal. And so at some point, hopefully we'll all get to that point. But let's just talk a little bit about why a CNC takes so much time. Let's just say, for example, if you wanted to cut out a simple square, you're talking about probably one router bit and one tool path. And we'll talk about terminology a little bit later, but one router bit. And depending on the size of your square, let's say it's 4x4, 4 inches by 4 inches, it might take 2 minutes. So this little drill bit's going around and around in square, not too bad. But what if you want to do a little bit of engraving on that square? Okay, so now you're going to use a different router bit. So once the square stops cutting, the router will stop. You will physically go over and change the bit on the machine, click the start button, and let it do its thing. So far you've cut out a square, and now you've engraved the name. In the meantime, your machine's creating a little bit of dust, maybe some wood chips. And if you don't have some kind of a dust collection situation, then you're gonna spend a little time with a shop vac, kind of trying to get some of those wood chips out of there. It takes a little bit of maintenance. I'm not gonna say babysitting, because you don't have to watch it completely all the time. If you're looking for complete automation, unless you get a really fancy CNC that changes the bits by itself, it's just not gonna do it, okay? All right, myth number two, just press start. Well, first of all, it's way more difficult than that. There are at least 4 computer operations that you need to know. So if you're not very tech savvy, just know you're gonna have to spend a little bit of time learning and understanding some of these processes. They're not hard, but it certainly is a little bit time consuming. All right, let's talk about what you have to use in a CNC to run a project. The first thing is you have to create a design. And so the first software is you're gonna need some design, some text, something to cut out on your CNC. 2 ways you can do this. One, you can go online and shop around. You can buy some CNC files online from people, download them, and then press start, shortcut, okay? The second way is to learn the software. In this case, I'm using the Vectric software, VCarve Pro. You know, they've got several versions. I had the desktop version, which was okay. Had a lot of pretty cool things on there, and certainly you can create a lot of really good things with it. I got the Pro license just because I wanted to be able to do some more elaborate inlays, and I wanted to also be able to do some 4th axis kinds of things at some point. At any rate. Oh, sorry about that truck going by. But let's just say you wanted to create your own thing or your own artwork, and that's fine. You're just gonna need to understand that you have to be able to use some tools in the software. The software itself is comprised of two things: CAD, just computer aided design, and then CAM, which is computer aided manufacturing. One piece of the software helps you create the object, so let's just say to draw the square. The other side of the software, the CAM side, helps you cut out the square or embellish the square. Maybe you just want to engrave it. So those are the two pieces of the software that you have to learn: creation side and then the cut side. Now, once you're done with both of those, and again, they're not hard to learn, it takes a little time and you're going to have to commit a little time to do it. You have to be able to export the files to send over to your CNC machine. And this is called G-code. Now with Vectric, when you download their software, they also give you some software, and I think it's called Ready to Carve maybe, or Ready to Go. And essentially, it's a pretty simple software program that is able to read the file that you just saved on your computer, converts it into some language that your CNC can understand. Probably didn't know that your CNC is multilingual. Well, it is. So those are kind of the three things. Now, I said four, and this one's a little bit important. If you don't understand file management on your computer or on your phones, think about this. All right. When you first create a project, you have to save that file so you have it later if you want to reuse it. After you've saved your artwork in CAD, now you go over to the toolpath side and you have to save your toolpath or your CAM file as well. And they're called two different things, right? And then the third thing is, exporting the G code in order for your CNC to understand it. So as long as you understand what files you're saving, where you're saving them, and where you're going to get them from when it comes time to run your CNC. That's why I say there's four things. Again, they're not hard. Independently, not hard at all. It's gonna take a little time to learn the software. All right, the next thing that you need to understand is router bits. And there are hundreds of them out there. You've got end mills, you've got up cuts, you've got down cuts, spiral cuts, compression bits, V bits, bowl bits, spin bits. And so there is a little bit of a learning curve to understand what do each of those do. And for me, it's a little bit of trial by error. I like the way this one looks. I think it does what it's supposed to. Get on the internet and double check and then run a quick test on something. Yeah, that's the way you learn. Haven't broken a bit yet. Not looking forward to that day. Anyway, the next thing to understand is, how do you get your material on your CNC so that you're able to cut it out or carve it or engrave it. Okay, and there's a few processes that you can do that, lots of different ways, and I'll show you that when we get over to the CNC. Okay, so at the end of the day, like if you get a CNC machine, it probably comes with some software, or at least a short version. Maybe it's a 90 days, or maybe it's not a full-blown version, but most companies, when you buy a CNC, will give you something to get started. If you have a chance to buy something, I use the Vectric software. I have the Pro version, I believe it's 12.5, and they've got some nice instructional videos there too. So most software is going to have a little bit of a tutorial to help you learn how to use it. Okay? I don't want to be all negative here and say don't get a CNC, it's a lot of work. You can learn everything about it. It just takes a little bit of time. And the most important thing you can do is just get started. You're going to make some mistakes along the way. I've made several already. I started a project without having all the steps completed, and so it didn't quite turn out. That's okay. That's all part of learning the process. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with the process, and it won't take long before you figure out what works for you. And that part will be exciting because then it does speed everything up a little bit. All right, so that concludes this portion of the video. I just wanted to end with a couple of things. If you're thinking about getting a CNC machine, it's an awesome idea. It's a great machine. Be patient, be willing to make some mistakes, and be willing to ask a lot of questions. There are several resources online that you can use. There are a lot of people that teach CNC classes. I'm going to be putting together 5 or 6 short videos to help you walk through projects, some very simple and some a little bit more complex. Okay, because the most important thing that you can do is start practicing. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the more of the process you have ownership of, and you can begin to put your own twists on exactly how to do something. I'm hoping that so far you're finding the information a little bit helpful. If you are, appreciate a like and a subscribe. I'll be putting together a few more videos that'll walk you through some basic projects so you get a little bit of experience, have some success, and it helps you get ready to take on some more complex projects.